Most people don't fail because they pick the wrong online business. They fail because they keep switching. And in this video, I'm going to show you 10 beginner-friendly online business models that still make sense right now and how to choose one that actually fits you. And near the end, I'll show you the mistake that keeps most people stuck. So let's get into it. I was gonna share 20, but these 10 are the ones that matter most. The first model is niche e-commerce, but not the version most beginners imagine. I'm not talking about throwing 50 random products into a Shopify store and then hoping one takes off. That game is crowded. What works better is to build around one specific type of customer, not a general pet store, a store for rescue dog owners, or senior dog care, or dog training tools, or raw feeding communities. The more specific the audience, the easier everything gets. So your messaging gets sharper and your products make more sense. Your marketing stops feeling random. A good example is the farmer's dog. They didn't sell pet products to everyone. What they did is they focused on health-conscious dog owners and then built a massive brand around it. You're not trying to build a billion-dollar company overnight, but the lesson still applies. If I were starting this from scratch, I'd pick one niche, study reviews, Reddit threads, Facebook groups, and comment sections, then look for repeated complaints. Then I'd build the store around solving one clear problem. For example, don't open a general fitness store. Build a store for at-home resistance band workouts for, let's say, women over 40. That buyer is much clearer. The trap here is trying to look big too early. You end up with too many products, weak branding, and no real angle. You want relevance because that's what will help you build trust faster. That said, this usually isn't the fastest route to money. There are more moving parts here. There are products, suppliers, design, customer service, and traffic. So if you want something simpler, the next models may fit you better. But before we get to them, we need to talk about the engine behind almost all of this. Content creation. This is the part most people underestimate. They think that content is just about views. It's not. It's about building attention you can use again and again. That can be on YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, a blog, or even a newsletter. The platform matters less than people think. What matters is building trust around a clear topic. Content can lead to affiliate revenue, digital products, ad revenue, sponsorships, communities, and more. One video can bring in views for months. One blog post can rank for years. And one newsletter can become a business by itself. And if you're thinking, yeah, but I don't want to be on camera, you don't have to be. A lot of channels today are faceless. Slideshows, voiceovers, screen recordings, animations. That's exactly why this model is so attractive. Content usually isn't the fastest path to money, but it can become one of the strongest long-term assets you build. Just don't try to post everywhere. Go with one platform, one niche, and one clear problem. For example, making money online for beginners, simple AI tutorials for small business owners, or productivity systems for creators. A lot of beginners, they post one finance video, then one mindset video, and then one AI video, one crypto video. That confuses the viewer and usually the platform too. People subscribe when they know what they're subscribing for, and that leads directly into the next model, which is affiliate marketing. One of the simplest ways to turn attention into revenue is affiliate marketing. You recommend something useful, someone buys through your link, and then you earn a commission. It works because businesses need distribution and creators have attention. You become the bridge between the two. That could be software, AI tools, courses, productivity apps, Amazon products, or anything else that fits your niche really. That's why so many creators make videos like best AI tools for productivity or top tools for YouTube creators. But beginners, they often damage their credibility by promoting too many things. Affiliate marketing only works when people believe you're helping them make a smart decision, not pushing them into a sale. So don't go promoting 20 products at once. Pick a few tools you actually like, then build content around real search intent. Do comparisons, do tutorials, beginner guides, set up some walkthroughs, and maybe list some mistakes to avoid. That converts much better than dropping links in the description and then hoping for the best. And once you understand what people are willing to buy, you can go one step further. So instead of recommending a product, you can create one. That's where digital products come in. This model is so attractive because it's so simple. There's no inventory, no shipping, no physical fulfillment. All you do is you create something once and then you sell it over and over again. That could be a Notion template, a spreadsheet, a checklist, a swipe file, maybe a mini guide, a planner, or even an AI prompt pack. A creator on Gumroad reportedly made over $300,000 from a Notion productivity template. It wasn't fancy, it just solved a real problem. That's what matters. A lot of beginners think their first product needs to be huge. It really doesn't. Smaller is usually way better. So if someone is struggling to organize their week, a simple $19 productivity template may be enough. And if 500 people buy it, well, that's $9,500 from one focused solution. But before you build anything, validate demand. Look at the questions people keep asking in your niche. What are they stuck on? What are they trying to simplify? What keeps coming up in comments, DMs, reviews, or forums? Then go ahead and create the smallest possible product that solves that one issue. It's faster to test, easier to improve, and even easier to sell. A lot of people spend weeks making something beautiful that nobody asked for. That happens because they started building before listening. Now, not everyone wants to package knowledge into templates or guides. Some people would rather sell something more visual. That's where print on demand gets interesting. From the outside, it looks easy. You upload a design, you put it on a shirt, and then you wait for sales. That's not really how it works anymore. What works now is niche relevance. Think teachers, nurses, dog moms, gamers, gym culture, book talk readers. The winners understand the audience behind the design. Because when people buy a hoodie or a mug, they're buying something that feels made for them. A phrase like, just one more chapter, works because it signals identity. And that's what sells. Platforms like Etsy and TikTok Shop have made niche discovery way easier. But this model still takes patience. Most designs won't sell, and that's normal. You may need to test 20, 30, or even 50 designs before one hits. Just avoid generic motivational quotes. Pick one audience and study their language. What phrases do they repeat? What jokes do they share? What identities are they proud of? Then build a batch of designs around that and adjust your expectations. Success after 1 or 2 uploads is mostly a myth. Now, maybe you're hearing all this and then thinking, yeah, but I don't want to deal with products at all. That's fair, because one of the fastest ways to start making money online isn't selling a product, it's actually selling a skill, and that's freelancing. Instead of building a product, you offer a service. Businesses constantly need help with things like video editing, copywriting, social media management, virtual assistants, and short-form content editing. Platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, and Contra make this possible because you can find clients anywhere in the world. But freelancing doesn't mean doing everything. The key is specialization. So instead of being a general video editor, be the video editor for YouTube creators. And instead of general social media management, specialize in Instagram for coaches. Specialists usually get paid more. This model is especially good if you want cash flow faster, because you can get paid before you even build an audience for a product. But again, pick one skill, one niche, and one offer. For example, short-form video editing for business coaches. Then you create 3 sample pieces, reach out to 20 potential clients, and then get feedback fast. Your goal with freelancing is speed, so don't hide behind learning for months before you pitch. But some people don't want to start from zero every month. They want recurring income. That's where membership communities get interesting. Instead of just selling information, you are creating an environment where people can learn, ask questions, stay accountable, and then move toward a goal together. That could be an investing group, or a fitness community, or an entrepreneurship group, or a coding community. Platforms like Skool, Circle, and Kajabi have made this much easier to run. The real value here is the people. People stay because they feel connected. They stay because they're making progress. They stay because they don't want to lose momentum. That's why communities can become such strong recurring income businesses. This works especially well if you already have an audience, because your most engaged followers often want deeper support or access. But even with a smaller audience, communities can still work if the outcome is clear enough. For example, a community for beginner YouTube creators, people learning affiliate marketing, or freelancers trying to get their first clients. If I were starting from zero, I would not build a giant platform with dozens of lessons and complicated features. Instead, I would keep it simple. Helpful discussions, regular interaction, a clear sense of progress. That could look like weekly Q&A calls, monthly challenges, step-by-step action plans, or strong accountability and feedback. So if you enjoy teaching, guiding, or bringing people together around a shared goal, this can be one of the most rewarding models on the list. All right, last stretch. These final 3 are for people who want more leverage, more upside, or more technical depth. Let's get into it. The next one is AI services. This is one of the most practical opportunities online right now, not because AI is magic, but because most businesses are still behind. They know AI matters. They know it can save time, and they know it can improve workflows. But many of them still don't know how to use it well. And that gap is the opportunity. You can help businesses automate customer support, generate marketing content faster, build workflows, organize leads, analyze data, and create follow-up systems. And a lot of this can now be done without coding. You can build useful automations with tools like ChatGPT, Zapier, and Make.com. So no, you don't need to be a developer. You just need to understand business problems well enough to solve them. And when you help a business save 10 or 20 hours a week, or increase output without hiring another person, they're often willing to pay well for that. That's why some AI automation freelancers these days charge anywhere from $500 to $5,000 per project, sometimes even more. This model is great for people who enjoy systems, problem solving, and making messy processes more efficient. Because that's really what you're selling. Not AI for the sake of AI. You're selling saved time, saved money, and less friction. But don't try to master every tool on the market. Pick one kind of client, maybe local service businesses, or maybe coaches, e-commerce brands, or perhaps content creators. Then learn a few simple automations that solve obvious problems for that group. That's enough to start. A lot of beginners obsess over tools, features, updates, and prompt tricks. But businesses don't care about most of that. They care about the result. Does it save time? Does it make the workflow easier? Does it help generate more revenue? That's what really matters to them. But maybe you're listening to all of this and thinking, that still feels too technical for me. No worries, let's go in the other direction then. Self-publishing. It's one of those models people all overlook because it doesn't sound flashy, but it's real. If you know something useful, well, you can package it into a short ebook and sell it online. Platforms like Amazon Kindle and Gumroad make this much more accessible than most people realize, especially in focused nonfiction niches. How-to guides, beginner roadmaps, simple frameworks, and problem-solving content still sell these days. The ebook market is massive. That doesn't mean every ebook will do well, but it does mean there is real demand. For example, you could write a guide called Meal Plans for Busy Dads or Organic Gardening for Beginners. Even a 10,000 word guide can be enough if it solves one specific problem clearly. Publish it at a low price. An ebook can work alongside your content as a first paid product, an authority builder, or a low-ticket entry offer. This is especially good for people who enjoy writing, teaching, organizing ideas, or just simplifying things for beginners. A lot of beginners try to create a huge perfect book. Most readers don't want that, they just want a useful book. If I were starting self-publishing today, I'd begin with research. I'd look on Amazon, study reviews, and see what readers complain about. Then I'd look at questions people ask in forums, in comments, and in niche communities. From there, I'd create a short guide that solves one clear problem better, faster, or more simply. So while this may not be the fastest path to a full-time income, well, it can be a smart supporting revenue stream. And in some niches, it can become much bigger than people expect. Now, the final model on this list is very different. This one is harder, slower to start, and potentially much more scalable. I'm talking about SaaS, software as a service. This is where you build the tool people use on an ongoing basis and then pay for monthly. Historically, this was out of reach for most beginners because if you couldn't code, well, you were stuck. But that has changed. Today, with no-code tools like Bubble, Glide, and Adalo, you can build much simpler products without being a full developer. And that opens the door for a lot more people. The big opportunity here is leverage. You're not selling hours or shipping products. You're building a system many people can use at once. That's why the upside can be so big. For example, personal trainers need a way to track client workouts. So you build a simple workout tracking tool and then charge them $20 a month. If 500 trainers use it, that's $10,000 a month in recurring revenue. That's the appeal. But this is also where beginners get ahead of themselves. They try to build something huge, too many features, too many audiences, too many complexity. Then they burn months building something nobody asked for. That's why simple matters even more here. Pick one audience, one pain point, and one feature that solves it. Maybe a scheduling tool for tutors, a habit tracker for creators, a client management tool for freelancers. Then validate it before trying to scale it. So no, this isn't the easiest model on the list. It takes more patience, more iteration, and more problem solving. But if it gets traction, it can become one of the most scalable businesses you can build online. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, okay, but which one of these should I actually choose? That's the right question, because the best business model isn't the one with the most hype. It's the one you can realistically stick with long enough to make work. If you need cash flow fast, freelancing and AI services are usually the quickest to start. But if you want low startup costs, content creation, affiliate marketing, digital products, and self-publishing are stronger options. Now, if you're into recurring income, membership communities and SaaS become way more attractive. But if you're more creative, then print on demand and content creation may feel more natural to you. The real question here is not which one makes the most money. It's which one fits my skills, my patience, and the way I like to work. Because that's usually the one you'll actually stick with long term. Before we wrap up, I want to talk about the biggest beginner mistake. That's shiny object syndrome. People start one model, then they see another opportunity on YouTube, and then they switch. 6 months later, they have half a website, 3 unfinished projects, and 0 traction. So pick one model, commit to it for 90 days, test, learn, improve. Good. Let's recap. We covered 10 online business models. Niche e-commerce, content creation, affiliate marketing, digital products, print on demand, freelancing, membership communities, AI services, self-publishing, and SaaS. None of these are overnight wins, but all of them are real businesses people are building right now. So if you're just starting, one of the simplest paths is this. Start creating content, recommend tools you use, then launch a small digital product. That combination powers a huge percentage of online businesses today. And if you want help building something like this step by step, well, I built a private community where I help people choose a model, stay focused, and build a real online business. The link is in the description. And if you're wondering which websites people are actually using to make money online right now, watch the video on your screen. I break down the top 5 earning platforms people are using in 2026. So I'll see you there.